Hi friends, strangers, internet. My name is Emily Hanhan. I love colorful makeup and colorful language. So I am back today. I am back today with a video in the theme of this palette should have been good, but it's not. At least to me. This topic was inspired / comes directly from Audra at home. Now, I don't know if this is going to be an exact collaboration or not. Basically, me, Kara, and Audra have a little group message going from when we did our live on Monday, and she was like, hey, I'm doing a video about a palette that should be great but isn't. If y'all need any inspiration, here you go. And I thought, that's a good idea. And I had a palette that kind of came right to the front of my head and a topic that also matched, so I thought I would film a video. I'm not sure if we're actually gonna post our videos at the same time. If hers is live when mine is live, I will link her video in the description box. If it's not live, I will have her channel linked, because I've said it before, I'll say it again, you should be subscribed to Audra. She is fantastic, entertaining, and informative, all the good shit. And I think about her a lot because she has an essential job and is working every day, so is dealing with life in that realm. So the palette that I am going to talk about today is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Subculture palette. Now, I just recently mentioned this in the Green Makeup Goblin video that I did, talking about how I really love Electric and I wish it was sold as a single. I love this color story, theoretically. I think that the mustards, the greens, the teal, the shimmers, they all really are beautiful. I think ABH was ahead of its time with this color story. But even though this is the revamped formulation, if you didn't know the original palette, if you look at the ingredients list, it was much shorter, which in my head I translated that as it was more of a pressed pigment palette. And it seems like they reformulated it to be a more easy to work with formulation. I just don't agree with that. I just don't love this formula. And Modern Renaissance is one of my long-time loves. So before getting Subculture, I was quite familiar with the ABH matte formula. What I want to do today is I'm actually going to do both eyes on camera. So on one eye, I'm going to use the Subculture palette, and on the other eye, I'm going to use my gold palette. These are not the same color stories, but if you look at them on camera, I do think there's a lot of similarities. In particular, the little quad over here that I love and adore, with the turquoises and the mustard, those are the shades in here that I was drawn to. So I'm going to be creating a look on both eyes that'll theoretically match up, and I just want to play with both formulas together to kind of compare and see if my memory serves me correct in that I don't love this formula and I do enjoy this formula, or perhaps I blew this out of proportion and I do like this formula. The other reason why I was inspired to do this video is this is almost a bit of a cold tea commentary, which might be in the title. I really wanted to talk about ABH and their PR and how they've handled it and mishandled it lately, or for a little while now. I had this idea for a while with every time something new came up about the ABH PR situation, but I didn't quite have the right video to do it in, and so I thought while I'm doing my makeup, I'll try to put some cohesive thoughts out there about the different things that we've learned about ABH and their PR. I'm going to prime my eyes with the same primer, and my goal is to use the same brushes on each eye, and I'll just make sure to not kind of cross-contaminate colors. So Subculture is going to be on my right eye. I'm trying to give it the biggest benefit of the doubt because I'm usually better with my right hand. So Subculture on my right side and Gold on my left side. So ABH and PR. ABH has gotten a lot of exposure for their PR practices, I feel like in like the last 6 months. From my memory, I feel like there was issues with the PR search and how that was handled. There was then folks being dropped from the PR list with no notice. The other thing that's come out most recently is that they have been asking for work from influencers and creators with no payment, only exposure. And I will say I was doubly inspired to do this video because Audra has talked so eloquently about PR, and I generally agree with what she said in her PR video. If I remember, I'll try to link it up here or in the description box. I want to start with the PR search because that was, I mean, of course I knew of ABH before then, but to me, that was really a moment that made me just fucking annoyed with the brand. So from my memory, ABH basically put it out there that they were looking for new creators to work with and to tweet about or post on Instagram. Mainly I was seeing it on Twitter, but to post about somebody that they wanted to see ABH working with. I really don't think it's just my hindsight. I really feel like from the moment I saw that go down, I was just fucking annoyed with ABH because it was constant and overwhelming free press, and it was just every single bit of content on social media. I did, now that I think about it, I did see it on Instagram and Twitter. It was, I think, a little bit more intense on Twitter, but it was just all about, look at me, ABH, see me, see me, see me. And I think my biggest, okay, I am somebody who, I follow a lot of different creators on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitter. I try to really look for people. I try to find new voices to follow. I'm not saying I'm the be all end all, like know it all. And I'm not even saying that I'm like ahead of the curve with who I follow. I don't necessarily think that. Do I think a lot of the people that I follow that are smaller creators are so fucking talented and underrated? Yes, but you know, it's a big market out there. But the scale of the market, I guess the scale of the market is also why I'm annoyed that it even happened. ABH is a big company. They can do the research themselves. They theoretically should have some employees that are tapped in to that part of the world because they're already sending out some PR. So to defer responsibility for finding new, fresh voices to the public is, like, I think really irresponsible. And then it can be really easy to also, like, not have a very diverse set of influencers that you work with and blame it on, well or working with, you know, who we were exposed to, who responded to the PR search, no matter how true or not that is. But I think more than anything, the fact that they presented this concept as a way to get PR and get connected with ABH was just so dishonest, because it was a way for ABH to get free press, to get free PR, to have, you know, tons and tons of people creating looks using your products, creating free content just in the process of searching. And ABH didn't even have to repost anything, because, you know, people would get retweeted because it's their friend that wants to get noticed, or all these things would happen. And I wish, like, I know that no business owes it to us to say, yeah, this is a PR, like, this is a free press stunt too, but it just felt really dishonest it felt really dishonest, because they were presenting it as this grand opportunity, rather than, you know, I guess presenting it with a little bit more realism to it. And yeah. And then I think that doubles back on the new information of the fact that then they were asking for influencers to work for free for exposure. The whole PR hunt was free labor. The whole PR hunt was free labor. And the bigger issue with that whole setup is the power imbalance. ABH is a huge company with a huge amount of pull and influence in the world, in the makeup world. And so all of these things that they kept asking from people just to get their attention, it was all just this huge, like, power play. Could ABH have spent their own time researching people? Yes, they could have. Could ABH have, you know, paid influencers for their content? Yes, they could have. But they're not. They're taking advantage of the community. And I think that more than anything pisses me the hell off. Taking advantage of the community. You're a business. I realize that. You don't necessarily owe anyone anything. That's fine. I get it. You're not going to be, you know, benevolent. But I think using the whole PR hunt as a way to find new influencers to be on the list, and then to further use that power imbalance to, in my opinion, to manipulate influencers and creators. I prefer the word creator over influencer, but whatever. To use that power imbalance to influence creators to do free work really pisses me the fuck off, because you're already holding so much over their head by doing this whole PR hunt. That alone, in my opinion, is holding so much over the heads of the people that they picked, because, you know, these people know that by the grace of their Twitter or their Instagram, they got noticed in the search, because everybody that was trying to get PR was seeing everyone else also trying to get that PR. So, you know, by the time I feel like ABH was picking people, it's like everyone knew, like, oh my god, you got on the list. That's amazing. They noticed you. It just hits me the wrong way. This is not the best brush for this formula, I will say. I think the 1-2 punch of, we're gonna have this big, like, free advertisement session disguised as a PR hunt, and then once we get a huge huge PR list. I think they said 2,000 people or something. Like a ridiculously big PR list. Then we're gonna start asking for free work. And when I say ask, I'm being kind. I've kind of made the assumption that they were not forcing it from anybody, but it was like assumed that that's what was going to happen, that the work would be free. And I could be totally wrong in some of these assumptions that I'm making. And like, if you happen to know the real truth or something, feel free to let me know. But also, if you're just a Anastasia stan, I'm not interested. But the big thing that kept coming to mind with all of the unfolding information about ABH's PR setup is just power imbalance. I just really felt like there was a mass manipulation, a huge mass manipulation of influencers and creators with that entire setup. And then we kind of get to the whole being removed from the PR list and not being told. Now, I've heard different creators say different things. I've heard people say when they're on other PR lists that, you know, if they're removed, they're told. And I've heard a lot of people say that if they were removed from a PR list, they didn't know until they just stopped getting product. Again, they're all businesses. Do they owe anybody that information? No. But the way that everything was set up so that there was so much reverence for ABH and so much reverence for what they were releasing, what was happening next, but informing people that are on PR, hey, you know, we're making changes and there may be product that is going to get sent out that won't be sent out to everybody. Or, hey, we're making changes and we have to remove you from the list, but we appreciate all the work you've done and we appreciate, you know, your craftsmanship and we value what you do and your creativity. And okay, I'm finally getting to where I remember my brain feeling. The reason why I felt like the lack of notice with taking people off of PR, the reason that really annoyed me is that the whole setup for getting on to the PR was very much about creativity, skills, and all of that. So as a creator, to be on the list for somebody like ABH, you know, to get on that list, I'm sure you feel some level of pride that like is indescribable. I'm sure of that. Like I you know, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think you should be proud of yourself. So to then be removed from the list or just stop getting product but not be told what's happening, that's then subsequently a huge like blow to the ego and blow to the creative ego. And I don't think there's anything wrong with having a creative ego. So when I say creative ego, I'm not like, it's not a negative thing. I think people should, I don't think there's anything wrong with ego. I think ego obviously needs to be balanced out with humility and other, you know, other emotional skills. But I think that the concept of ego is often, you know, frowned upon, but the reality is that you kind of need it to do some work in the world. I feel like a lot of my job as a friend is like being the hype person and giving that friend their ego back and being like, no, you're fucking amazing. And anyway, so going back to ABH. So I think that's my biggest like issue with the way that went down, is that you spend all this time building up this huge PR hunt, trying to find the most talented people, you know, undiscovered people or whatever else. And then, you know, the reality of it is that for whatever reason, the technique didn't work. It didn't pay off in business sense, whatever it is. And so you have to downsize that list. okay, could you just like give those people a stock standard email? It would not take that much time to create the email and send it out, to just let these people know a decision has been made, but you are still valued, you are still talented. Like, I know I sound like Stuart Smalley, that SNL sketch from back in the 90s, the I'm good enough, I'm strong enough, and gosh darn it, I deserve it. But ABH, you could have just taken a very minuscule amount of time to extend just a little bit of comfort in a really shitty situation. And that's like, I guess for me, I feel like there was so much hype about the whole situation, and I felt like there was like, maybe I'm projecting this, but I felt like there was like, in a way, some of the hype was like, yeah, the community, and we want to find the best people, and you know, we want to support these people. And then in the reality, they're just a business. And I know that, and like, I get that, but I think that if you're just gonna be a business, at least don't be a messy one. And if you're gonna be a business, fucking pay people for their work. So I just think the whole setup was incredibly manipulative on the part of ABH. And I think that the fact is that they need to pay people when they're to do content for them. And the fact that so many of the stories that I was hearing about creators not getting paid were Black creators. Fuck you, ABH. Like, get your fucking shit together. That really is what like was just like, okay, so you really don't give any fucks. You don't give any fucks about a community that, in my opinion, your whole rise was from that fucking community. And in the matter of, I would say, a year max, you've burned so many bridges within that community. Now, am I saying every beauty lover, every extreme makeup artist that does Instagram and YouTube and all that is going to stop using their products? No. Some people don't care. Some people, you know, it's just like how a lot of brands that I don't support and haven't supported for a long time still get support. People support, you know, terrible humans. And businesses are businesses, and businesses are not humans. That's your choice. I guess no matter what, here are some like kind of finishing thoughts. PR is a business transaction. I agree with that. I think that, you know, signing up to get PR it's not a gift. It's not a brand just being kind, because brands are not human, and businesses are not inherently kind. Being kind is bad for business. So if you get the opportunity to receive PR from any brand, you know, just I hope people know that it is a business deal. And if you don't make them money, there's a very big likelihood that that business deal will end. And I totally understand that. And I think that's the way a business has to run. Businesses losing money is not the way a business stays around. But I also hope that both creators and the kind of general public that's just into makeup will really start embracing the idea that brands are not people. And as much as you might love a brand or love a release, their goal is to make money. And also, you know, if you see a brand starting to be more active with personality, that's a business move. Is it a smart business move? These days, I don't think so. I think the businesses that have their, like, have a face behind them or in front of them are usually the ones that get the harder criticism. But if that's happening, it is a business decision. I hope that if you are a lover of beauty and you are somebody that cares about what brands are doing, that you will care when a brand is not paying its creators. That you will care and you will not sit there and say, product is payment enough, product is payment enough. But because the reality now more than fucking ever is that makeup is not going to pay your rent. A eyeshadow palette is not going to subsidize your rent. A jar of moisturizer cannot be swapped for a cart of groceries. Product is not payment. And I think talking about it from a perspective as somebody who watched beauty for a long time and who still not received any PR, but thinks about this more, be supportive of creators getting sponsorship, or, you know, I mean, even ask the questions to brands that you love and interact with on social media. If you see their, you know, reposting a really specifically beautiful flat lay or look from another creator, and they say that the creator, you know, made this for the brand, be in the comments and be like, oh, I hope you paid them, or like, oh, congrats on that creator, you know. I know that seems kind of silly, but I don't know, I think there's something, if you're the kind of consumer that's vocal about things, about issues you have with brands or desires you want to see from brands, being vocal about, hey, I hope, you know, so-and-so got a good deal out of that, or something like that. Like, I don't know. I think I kind of lost the plot here, but I hope y'all understand what I'm saying about this as a consumer. Now, if you're a consumer that's like not commenting shit on, you know, on brands post, or you don't feel like, you know, going down that road, of course, I'm not asking you to like be a crusader for influencers, but I just hope that, I think I have a twofold kind of conclusion. I hope brands are paying influencers for specific content, meaning you want me to do an Instagram post about this, or you want me to feature it in a video or make a specific video for it, pay the influencer. And also, consumers, let's be kinder to influencers that have sponsored videos or sponsored content. Yeah, if an influencer is only doing sponsored content, that's annoying as all fucking get out, and that I don't approve. But if they got a deal and they're doing some work with, you know, a brand that you like and they like, applaud that shit, because that's fucking cool. And in the long run, that's what I want to see. I want to see more brands paying creators to do work, and not, you know, sitting there and telling them, well, maybe if you do enough good work with us for a long period of time, we can then afford to pay you. Or, you know, well, this is gonna be all that we can do, but we still expect XYZ things from you. I got a little off track from the actual ABH part of the video, but I did think it was important to mention, like, as a consumer of beauty, to just be a little bit more kind of open and willing to not scoff at sponsored content, because I think that's also, I don't know, I think it all feeds into it. I think it's all this like big ecosystem, and, you know, the more that brands can, I think the more that brands see pushback too from people doing sponsored content, I also think that gives them more audacity to like not want to pay for that content and just expect people to just do the work. which is shitty because you should be paid for work you're doing. I'm trying to be better at like not always saying if that makes sense or whatever, because I think sometimes it's a crutch. But I do really hope that what I talked about today has made sense. I just really don't like the direction that ABH has gone with the way they're handling their business. And it's totally possible that there are other brands out there that I buy from, or you could say I support, that do this kind of shit too, and they just haven't gotten exposed yet. That's fair. That's fine. If that happens, I won't be surprised. But right now, I just feel like, you know, ABH has kind of fallen off of its pedestal, and I'm not shocked about it, but I'm a little surprised. And of course, I would love to hear your thoughts about this in the comments. Do you still feel like ABH is like as amazing as it was a year ago? Do you not care? Did you never kind of stan the brand the way so many other people did? Let me know. Okay, so now that I have finished up my face and finished these eyes, and you've heard me babble about my thoughts on ABH PR, just thought I would give a few final thoughts about my experience with both palettes. So my experience with this palette, it's high impact color, but I still am not happy with how they blend out and how they blend together. So on this eye, as a comparison, I used the teal Axis, the green Destiny, and then a mix of New Wave and Edge for the yellows. Fine. Electric on the lid, beautiful. Cube on the inner corner, pretty. But the thing that I really love about this palette, these, in my opinion, blend out beautifully. And I was able to create, in my opinion, a comparable to more blended out look using only two mattes. I only used the turquoise and the mustard, and they blend together to create a really nice, dirty kind of olive green. Lime chrome on the lid with the white gold on the inner corner, so it's a little different. Even if I didn't have this specific palette to compare to, I could have probably compared this to my mattes from Lethal Cosmetics. I probably could have compared it to other mattes in my collection. I just don't like how these mattes, in my opinion, they don't work together. And if you're going to be in a palette together, I truly think you should be able to be blended together. This is one of those that's just like, you could have been so great. You had so much potential. I was rooting for you. It's not the one. So yeah, that was some additional thoughts on a couple of palettes that I already own, and some cold tea thoughts on the whole ABH PR situation. I'm not like officially not shopping from them, in case anybody cares, but I'm more wary. And kind of giving them some distance. If you enjoyed this video, if you like this idea, if you would like to hear more kind of commentary from me, especially if it's like cold tea, older stuff, please let me know in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video and would like to follow along with my colorful shenanigans, I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. I have a Patreon, and I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Nomnivorous. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I hope to see you again real soon. Bye, friends.